Welcome guys, I'm HOJ, and in today's video I'll be playing Boros Burn in 5 best of 1 standard ranked matches. First I'll kind of go over the deck, then we'll do the games, and then I'll give some closing thoughts at the end. In the video description you will see a full playlist for this deck, and then also a full playlist for my other deck, Mono White Life Gain, if you'd like to check that out. In addition, there will be a deck list on moxfield.com and also deck win percentage stats on untapped.gg. Also, if you'd like to subscribe, I'll have a link for that. Okay, let's jump in. So, Boros Burn. Basically, I ended up hitting rank 1 platinum, and then I just couldn't quite get past it with life gain, so I decided to switch it up to a Boros Burn deck. Currently now at Diamond 3. Really happy with it so far. And to give you a quick overview of how the deck works, first of all, 22 land sources. We have really great mana. We have 4 copies of Sunbillow Verge, which taps for white, and then taps for red if you control a mountain or a plains. 4 copies of Sacred Foundry, which when it comes into play you can pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped, and then it taps for red and white. 4 copies of Inspiring Vantage, which comes into play untapped if you have 2 or fewer lands, and also taps for red and white. And then 4 copies of Abraded Bluffs. This does come into play tapped and taps for red and white, but when it enters, it does 1 damage to your opponent. And then 6 copies of Basic Mountain. For the 1-drops, we have 4 copies of Boltwave, which is a sorcery for 1 red, does 3 damage to each opponent. 4 copies of Burst Lightning, which is 1 red as an instant, with Kicker of 4, does 2 damage to any target, and then if you kick it by paying the extra 4 mana, it will do 4 damage instead. And then 2 copies of Shock, for a 1 red as an instant, does 2 damage to any target. For your 2-drops, we've got 4 copies of Lightning Strike, 1 red and 1 other as an instant, does 3 damage to any target. 4 copies of Slickshot Show-Off for 1 red and 1 other, which is a Bird Wizard, a 1/2 flying haste, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Also has the plot ability, so if you pay 1 red and 1 other, you can plot it, and it allows you to play it on a later turn without paying the mana cost. 4 copies of Razorkin Needlehead, 2 red, which is a human assassin 2/2, and then this creature has first strike during your turn, and whenever an opponent draws a card, this does 1 damage to them. So really great against control. 4 copies of Boros Charm, 1 red, 1 white. It's an instant. You can choose one. Either it does 4 damage to target player or planeswalker, or permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or target creature gains double strike. So 90% of the time in this deck, you're going to be choosing the first mode to do 4 damage to the opposing player. And then 4 copies of Lightning Helix, which is 1 red and 1 white as an instant and does 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. For our 3-drops, we have 4 copies of Screaming Nemesis, 1 red and 2 other, which is a spirit 3/3 with haste. And then whenever this creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. Super important to have access to something like this in this deck. And then 4 copies of Slagstorm. This is kind of our board sweep. 2 red and 1, which is a sorcery. You can choose one. Slagstorm deals 3 damage to each creature, or Slagstorm deals 3 damage to each player. And this is really important because I want to make sure that all of my burn in this deck has the ability to go to the opponent's face. So kind of the basic idea here is just try to get like a Slickshot Show-Off. If you've got one early, you can plot it and then set up a big turn where you unload a lot of spells. Razorkin Needlehead is just really good value against control. Any deck that tries to draw a lot of cards, and just very good early threat. And then Screaming Nemesis, you will often target with your own removal to turn off your opponent's ability to gain life. if you're up against anything white, and potentially sometimes black decks if they have a lot of life gain. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of burn the opponent's face, get in there. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into the games. I've been playing this quite a bit in the last day or two and just been having a lot of fun with it. It's very, very, very straightforward, but I like that kind of deck. Opening hand looks great. Just recently added the Slagstorms, which has been really good against lots of creature decks, things like that. Sometimes you want to hold on to the Boltwaves, like if you have a Slickshot Show-Off in your opening hand, or if you potentially can hold it a little bit. I think with this hand, I'm going to go ahead and just fire off one of them. You kind of want to get a rough idea of how much burn you need to hold back to try to time it all well with your mana, but it's been fun. We can set up Slagstorm here if we're worried about the Cecil Dark Knight. I think I want to get Needlehead going. So I think we can potentially either use the other mode on Slagstorm just to go to face, or if we have to, use it to kill the Dark Knight. And pretty soon that is going to flip anyways, so... Okay, so now I'm much more likely to want to go Slagstorm for creatures. I guess if we think that we can... This is an interesting play here, because if we go Screaming Nemesis and get in there, he'll drop to 11, and then he'll drop to 9, and then it'll flip and turn into the Cecil, the version with lifelink. But we can then do the Slagstorm or Burst Lightning on our Nemesis, if it's still around, and then be able to turn off lifelink. So I think I'm just going to go Nemesis here and not overthink it. Sometimes you do want to be careful with your Nemesis, though. Like if they have removal, it's really important to be able to turn off lifelink against certain matches. Yeah, and he did do that here. So now he is going to drop to 6, so we should be able to just end the game right now. We can just go Boltwave plus Slagstorm for game. Want to know. Part of the reason that I wanted to go with Boros Burn is that I kept running into a lot of blue-white control, and this deck is actually quite good at dealing with blue-white control. The life gain deck was having a really hard time dealing with that kind of control deck. Opening hand looks good. We could use another mana here, but we'll start out with Abraded Bluffs. And I'm still getting used to the deck myself. I built it yesterday, so I put in a couple games on my tablet, but still kind of getting used to it. So here, the question is always Needlehead versus Slickshot Show-Off. They definitely, will have some kind of removal here. I like Needlehead because it does help, but at the same time, like we've got a lot of burn. If we had another land, I think I would definitely go Show-Off, because then we could get like 2 spells in. I guess we could still go like Shock plus Boltwave, So I don't know. This is tough. I think I'm going to go Slickshot Show-Off here and just kind of set up the threat. I am going to plot it instead of attacking, even though we could have just played it just because we don't want to have it die on his turn while we're tapped out. Kind of like setting it up as like a threat hanging over them can be kind of powerful. Okay, and that's really nice because now we can get rid of Vivi, play our Show-Off, and get our Lightning Helix in. And this is definitely a huge threat. We want to get rid of this right away. I guess they've got like the Soul Cauldron, so they can still have access to it, which actually is a decent point. Maybe would have been better just to go face. Yeah, I suppose actually with Soul Cauldron in play, maybe that wasn't so great. Turns out they have another one anyways, so. Yeah, unfortunately they do have the removal. They're pretty low on cards here, so I think going for Nemesis is pretty good here. Ideally, we want to be able to turn off potential life gain, like they might have access. I guess this is probably it, but some versions are Jeskai and have access to like Lightning Helix and things like that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go Nemesis here. We could also go like Needlehead plus Shock, but I like Nemesis. Okay, so now if we go Lightning Strike plus Boltwave plus Shock is 8, 11 with Screaming Nemesis. They can swing back for game. Yeah, the problem is that they can make another dragon, give everything haste, which is pretty gross. I think we Boltwave either way, but let's yeah, because if they make another dragon, I think we need to get in here. Let's see, 3, 6, 9. Yeah, and if they want to block, that's totally fine. I think they probably make it a 4 power. Okay, well that's even better. Now we can go for a Needlehead and then just try to block. Yeah, let's see. So they've got, depending on what they drew here, it's going to be close. Okay, if we shock that in response, yeah, I think that's the play. Hopefully no counters here. So let's see, this is 4, 9, 12. Yeah, they still got it. Oh well. I wasn't sure if we could finagle this. Okay, 1-1. So yeah, I think the mistake was early on killing the Vivi, just wasting a turn there. Instead, probably should have gone face. Okay, opening hand looks good. Yeah, really nice having that Screaming Nemesis on turn 3. This is a super rough matchup though. But having the Nemesis is great. One of the things here is we want to try to bait their removal. The, God, I can't think of the name of it. The enchantment that exiles another creature. See if we can bait that and then try to save Screaming Nemesis to be able to target itself. So I think let's just get Slickshot going here. This is a nice turn for Slagstorm. Just kind of reset everything. Now if we can draw a shock, then we can shock our own Nemesis, turn off life gain, which would be amazing. Yeah, this is that. I'm almost tempted to just like wait a turn and then Helix the Nemesis. Just because like if they turn it off, like if we can turn off their life gain, like the game is over. I think I'm actually going to do that. Okay, double Nemesis is pretty good. I mean, it's really tempting to just Helix that thing. I think that since we've got a second one, we probably can. Yep, and they were waiting for it, so they did have it. Man, part of me wants to just like wait for removal, but we kind of can't. This is going to be a huge problem. So I think we play the other Nemesis. Hopefully they haven't got like a second Sheltered by Ghost. That'd be super rough. And then just we sit back with Nemesis. That's how we lose this game, though, if they have a second one. And, of course, they do. Oh, my God. They baited me into it. Oh, my God. Okay, that was horrible. Oh, of course, they had both of them. Now this is pretty much over at this point. Okay, yeah, so see my mistakes so you don't have to make them. I don't think we have any outs at this point here. Okay, 1 and 2. Man, that was just heartbreaking though. I definitely could have played better there. I think I want to hold on to my removal for most of it, just in case we draw into Slickshot Show-Off. Just like set up a big turn. We're not really in any rush at the moment here. I guess we can fire off a lightning strike. Okay, nowhere to run. They're definitely up on cards. And we're going to try to get as much value out of this Burst Lightning as possible, so just hang on to it here. Again, just going to hang on to my burn just in case I draw a Slick Shot. I think we'll just do Slagstorm next turn. We could Burst Lightning this, but I think we'll just wait and Slagstorm. Maybe they'll play another creature. Okay, they are not falling for it. Yeah, I think we just Slagstorm here. That's pretty rough. Enduring Curiosity, this is a pretty nasty card. Okay, so I think we just need to hope to try to block that. They probably have removal for it, but I think we have to try. We could also, I suppose, Burst Lightning it, but that just, since it essentially comes back, that's pretty weak. Yeah, I think we just try to block here. We could Burst Lightning and turn off life gain, but I don't think they even have that much, and we kind of need to hang on to our removal, I think. So unfortunately, that we will kill, though. But yeah, this Enduring Curiosity is just doing work. That is going to pretty much do it here. We're just a little too far behind. Double Curiosity. Whew. Okay, 1 and 3, not looking good. Might have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Okay, opening hand looks good. Got stuff to do. Yeah, double Needlehead seems good. Happy to shock that. Okay, just lay another one here. I think... Do we want to hang on to this Boltwave in case we draw into Slickshot? Yeah, I think we can wait a turn on it. Plus this way we kind of threaten having a shock. think we'll just Helix that. Although I suppose we could probably wait since they don't have any pump that, I suppose they could have like 2 spells maybe, so it's good to do it now. Whew, we are drawing quite a bit of land here, just getting flooded. Yeah, I think we gotta lightning strike that because that's repeatable damage. Get our damage in while we can. Ooh, Sunspine Lynx, that's rough. So if they draw land, we just die, unless we hold back Slickshot. Yeah, we just lose to land. I think if we have to assume they don't draw it. We might still lose here, but I think we... have to hope that they just haven't got the land. And they've got the land. Well, this was kind of a rough one, guys. All right, 1 and 4 can't all be winners. But I show you the good with the bad. So let's take a look quickly at the stats here. Okay, so here's a quick snapshot. It was doing really well yesterday, but yeah, on camera this is pretty rough. The overall win rate is currently 64%, so 70% win rate on the play and 50% on the draw, 9 wins and 5 losses. 4 of those losses were today. I've also did a bunch of games kind of offline which aren't shown here, just on my tablet, and did use this to get to Diamond 3. So I think the deck has potential, but as you can see, it has a lot of problems too. And if I were to look at kind of what to change, there are just a lot of weak cards that just maybe just don't go far enough. Like, I don't know how good Shock is here. We could also, maybe bring in the 4/5 flyer that you can warp in for 3. I had him in for a little while and then ended up taking it out for Slagstorm just because I wanted to have some kind of answer to mass creatures that could still go face. And like in theory that sort of works, but it just seems to be kind of too slow or just not quite good enough. So I think there's a lot of changes they could make here, but I did want to show you the deck. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I appreciate you. And if you liked the games, if you like my channel and you want to see more, check in for the next video and consider subscribing. See you in the next video, guys.